Today, every company is a technology company. It's an interesting time where without technology, life is at standstill. At Harman, we work in connected car, which is working towards autonomous vehicles for the future. And we are talking about car running without drivers. Um, that's the technology which has the maximum number of lines of code, even more than rockets. It means the car may not have a driver, but there will be thousands of engineers required to run that car. And this is an exciting time. The purpose of such cars is to reduce human errors, to reduce death in the road. The technology always help to save lives. So it's an interesting time from our point of view that technology would be helping us to move things without a human touch. It saves life, and of course, it will be an exciting time to see that how technology help each other, including saving lives in terms of driverless ambulances, drones, and whatnot. So it's an exciting time to be in technology, and there is no industry which is not embracing this. Uh, one of the difficult thing is to, as a technology takes leaps and bounces much faster than as human beings we learn technology, especially from our engineering course structures, it requires the same amount of rapid change. We've been so happy to use a new technology at home. For example, if you get a new mobile phone, the first person to get it right may be your youngest one in your family, and the last one to take may be a person working in a technology company. That's how the consumer technology is leaping and bouncing. So much faster than what's happening in enterprise. And the same challenge we face when we take people from engineering colleges or engineering graduates. So one thing is that while it was so difficult, even if I go back to my career, it was so difficult to do a project in computer science at home because you need to have your own PC or a laptop was not even possible for us to get. We need to get to some computer lab and do spend time. But look at now, you get free cloud compute and storage for college students. The only limitation is your imagination and hard work. So for example, if I were reborn and doing an engineering course now, my interview would have been showing my project to my potential employer than showing a piece of paper saying I'm born in this place or my age is this. But that's a possibility of new engineering graduates or millennials we call, that they can really produce new products and there is no age barrier in that. And it need not be even engineering, it could be even in your high schools. My advice for the graduating engineers or the ones who is preparing for taking engineering or technology as their career would be that need not wait for the final semester or the final graduation day to go look at the industry. The technology is touching you every day, even as a student, even as a millennial, even as an individual consumer. And my thought would be like, think on lines which is really disrupting the industry, and the people who chases this earlier would be more employable. One area which I keep suggesting people is cybersecurity. We encourage people or from any parts of the world to go and check our websites, mobile apps, and tell us the vulnerabilities by using the standard white hat hacking methods, which just requires a basic computer knowledge and understand. This helps us to know that the individuals are really interested in cybersecurity and they're helping us by wearing the white hats. And this helps as an opener to say that, hey, I'm interested in cybersecurity as a domain and I'm helping. In fact, we have encouraged people to get this and rewarded them. You keep hearing that Google and Facebook paying dollars of money for young graduates who has at least published the vulnerabilities in their sites or in their operations. And this is one way to be engaged with the industry much early than waiting for the real theory into practice. So I would suggest that keep watching for the new technology. There is no backlog for the new engineers because the technology is graduating along with you. So in fact, we the people in the industries behind the technology, by few years, because we have put our roadmap thinking of the technology today for the next 3-5 years. But the people who are graduating now are graduating with a new technology. So always engage with the new technology and find possibilities to interact with the industry as much as possible. In terms of internship, I think earlier it was like a norm which was pushed from your department to go and visit some industry at the end of third semester or in sixth semester or eighth semester. I think this has to change from your own personal objective. You don't need to wait for again your as more than going for an outing. It should be coming from inside, and there is no age limit. I have seen people now, at least kids now, waiting at least taking a break in their schooling education. For example, after +2, if you are still not sure which way to go, there is an inclination that they spend a year with the profession which they think that is their passion. And it's easy to say passion as a word, but when you stop studying, when you take your 1 year break and understand that domain or a profession, then you really understand whether that's the domain or something else. So if you're really passionate, don't wait for the curriculum driven internship opportunities, but try to engage using the new age platforms, including your network within family, within your known ones, and spend time. And you always have breaks between semesters to go and understand each of the domain. So spend time in how things are work, because there is a big difference between the reality and what you really perceive from outside. So unless you break those glasses and understand those organization, including the organization which you always see good as Google, but the kind of life you spend in Google is extremely important to have the passion, because they spend hours and hours with the code. So if you don't like the code, if you don't like to see the code for hours and hours, that's not the job what you're really liking it. So my personal suggestion would be to spend time with the industry forum. Do not wait for the curriculum driven internship, but create your own internship. I don't think any academia stops you from exploring that aspect. One, I mentioned about the technology aspects which is graduating. For example, the AI, ML, the big data, and the cloud. A lot of possibilities for you to go and try out in the cloud on these technology, for sure, technology areas. At the same time, some of the areas which we see that the engineers lack is how do they present their part, back, because many times you don't get so much of time to really explain what you did. A good thing is that today is an era of startup, and we encourage millennials to have the startup mindset. So having a business acumen, business in the sense what makes sense, what makes money. Unfortunately, none of our parents or none of our ancestors taught us to make us money by doing business. But that's an important aspect of in the enterprise world, or at least a return of investment. So think about business cases. When you see, for example, the way we can apply is that when you see a new app which is really doing well, go and understand what is their model. For example, if it's a platform like a carpooling platform, understand how they make money. You have two sides of the platform. One side is the cars and the drivers who is contributing by supplying their cars for taking us to place A to B. The other side is that as users, we are paying those platforms to go from A to B. So if you are a management inclined person, understand the evolving digital economy. The technology is actually not just disrupting the way works, the transactional way it works, but also it's disrupting the way business will run. So if you have an inclination to understand the new modes of working, look at even from a gaming point, what types of games are, how the games are making money. So that will help to present your technology inclination with a business acumen, which will make really as a new entrant into the industry in a fast-tracked, accelerated pace.